We have talked over and over again about boss battles within Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and the fact that only having Bowser Jr. is kind of lame. And we even talked about including bosses such as original ones that we just posted a video on. We also just posted a video on what if the Koopalings were actually in Mario Wonder, and we actually placed them throughout the various different worlds and talked about how their boss battles would actually work within Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So if you want to check those out, they are linked down below, and here are the thumbnails if you just want to see them. I want to go back to the Koopalings and not just talk about them being in the game and what they would do, but rather just talking about would we actually have wanted them to be in this game? Did they need to be here? And we haven't seen them in actually quite a while in the mainline Mario game, so was it a right thing for them to not be added or a wrong thing? Also, I kind of just took their existing renders and recolored them and added some things to make them look like they had wonder effects, so if you enjoy that, leave a like and subscribe. I think that deserves a subscription from you guys. But yes, a lot of you watching this video right now are not yet subscribed. Before we get started, stop what you're doing. Let's see how many people we can get to subscribe from this one video. If you love the Koopalings, let me know by subbing. But let's jump into the video. The Koopalings is kind of a mixed bag for a lot of people, and I'm not gonna lie, originally I was on team get rid of the Koopalings because we kept seeing them over and over and over again in 2D Mario with New Super Mario Bros. Wii, New Super Mario Bros. U, and New Super Mario Bros. 2, and it was like the same boss battles over and over again. But then I started to really miss them in Mario Wonder, considering the fact that they're not there at all and it's just Bowser Jr. made me really miss their presence. And actually sitting and looking back as to last time we actually saw them, the last game they technically appeared in was Bowser's Inside Stories remake in 2019 in the Bowser Jr.'s Journey side mode. Yeah, they were in a side mode of a remake of a DS game on the 3DS. Then before that, the last time they appeared in a game was another spin-off game being Paper Mario Color Splash, and that was on the Wii U in 2016 as they appeared as major boss battles in that game. The last mainline appearance of the Koopalings was in New Super Mario Bros. U on the Wii U all the way back in 2012. That is legitimately 11 years since we had the Koopalings in a mainline game, or at least an original one, not counting the deluxe version of New Super Mario Bros. U that came out for the Switch. So yeah, in retrospect, I was wrong, and I'm looking back thinking, wow, we actually haven't had the Koopalings in quite a long time. Now, if you wanted to be technical, you could bring up other games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and even Dr. Mario World, but yeah, it's been a long time for mainline, and honestly, I think they're actually due for a return. And yeah, like this is coming from somebody that really just did not like the Koopalings that much, and honestly, I missed them, and considering the fact that they haven't even been in a mainline 3D game either, is kind of unfortunate, and I think I would actually really love to see them make a return. And of course that brings us to Super Mario Bros. Wonder, as they don't appear in that game either. And if you didn't watch the whole entire video I made before, I pretty much just talk about how it's kind of weird that there's like 7 worlds that would have felt perfectly with the Koopalings, and yeah, you could have had the Wonder events taking the things that they normally use, like Iggy's Chain Chomp or maybe even Roy's Bullet Bill Launcher, and kind of wonderfy them. But what's the main problem with people in the Koopalings? Why don't people like them? Well, let me try to explain it and try to tell you how this can actually be fixed. So I think New Super Mario Bros. DS actually kind of hurt the Koopalings a lot because it introduced these brand new bosses, which were unique bosses: a giant Goomba, a PD Piranha boss fight, a giant Cheep Cheep. You even had like a Lakitu on the Thundercloud, being Lakathunder, and a giant Monty Mole tank. They were a lot different, and it took a lot different approaches in order to take them out, instead of just jumping on their head 3 times after they spun in their shells. And in a way, the Koopalings kind of babyfied this in a way, making it extremely easy, not super unique boss battles, and people really wanted those old boss battles back. But does that necessarily mean the Koopalings can't make for good boss battles? No, that's not really the case. The Koopalings also are not just carbon copies of one another. You know, they actually have unique attributes and items that make them different and distinguish them from one another. For instance, Wendy has her rings on her arms. We have Iggy with his chain chomp that he always has, Roy with his bullet bill launcher, and Lemmy with his giant bouncy ball. And a lot of this was actually implemented within Paper Mario Color Splash. And of all games, yes, we're using this one because I think it does a good job at distinguishing the Koopalings and making them very unique, and it takes those things that they normally use within the 2D Mario games and expands on them. I feel like it's that very uniqueness is what needs to shine through in 2D Mario games. It shouldn't just have, oh, Wendy has her rings, so she's just going to toss them around the room. Oh, Roy has his bullet bill launcher, so he's going to shoot some bullet bills across the room. You know what I mean? I think they need to integrate these things that these Koopalings have and change them up. And like I said in my video, for instance, if Roy was in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, what if you could shoot like 3-4 different different types of bullet bills and then even ride on them like a skateboard or something. Lemmy could have tons of bouncy balls all around the room and even like a stack of them that he's standing on, and Mario has to knock out each individual ball so that way the giant ball tower falls down or something like that. Or like a pokey made out of his bouncy balls would have been amazing. I don't think it's a problem with the Koopalings per se, but I think it's a problem with how Nintendo handles them. I think Nintendo sometimes make them less exciting, even though there's a lot of potential behind some of these characters. But let's say Nintendo didn't really want to make them super interesting and still kept them kind of the same as their counterparts from the new Super Mario Bros. Series. They simply could have just added them as mid-bosses or tower bosses. Would have made a lot of sense. Shoot, I would have even taken Bowser Jr. as a mid-boss in Mario Wonder with a big boss at the end of each world. I think that would have worked. Maybe the Koopalings being mid-bosses and then the final boss being some type of huge original one, or like a Wonderfield event with the Koopalings. I think that would have worked, and I think a lot of people would have loved to see the Koopalings back in that capacity. So yes, I feel like there was tons of potential for the Koopalings in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Nintendo just didn't tap into that potential. Instead of having everybody come over to the Flower Kingdom, it was just Bowser Jr., Kamek, and Bowser, where Kamek and Bowser Jr. had a significantly small role in this game in comparison. But of course, we can always look to the future. To the next 2D Mario game, maybe we get the Koopalings back, and now people will stop complaining about Koopalings. That includes myself, because yep, I was one of them. But still, like I said earlier, I would actually love to see the Koopalings appear in the next big 3D Mario game. According to the reports, the next 3D Mario game is in fact going to be a pure open world launch title for the very next Nintendo Switch console next holiday, which is super exciting, and I think I would actually like to see the Koopalings return in that game. I think Mario Wonder does a lot by not having the Koopalings here, and I think maybe it refreshes a lot of people's minds, and who knows, maybe Nintendo heard our complaints and said, you know what, if you don't like Koopalings, fine, you're just going to get Bowser Jr. Now, would I rather have original unique bosses out of all of these? Absolutely yes. I still would rather have unique bosses over Koopalings. But at the end of the day, after seeing the lack of boss variety in Mario Wonder, the Koopalings definitely deserved to come back. But now I want to hear from you guys. Would you have liked to see the Koopalings return in Super Mario Bros. Wonder? Would you like to see them in some type of DLC? But that definitely leads me into my next question. If Super Mario Bros. Wonder was to get DLC, what would you like to see? Comment in big letters the word wish followed by your DLC wish, and you could be featured in a future video if your comment is unique enough. If your wish is something bigger, make sure you describe it in great detail so that way I know exactly what you're talking about in case I get lost by your comment. But yep, comment in all caps the word wish followed by your DLC wish, where we're going to talk about what this game could actually have in form of DLC, and maybe we'll get the Koopalings in DLC. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.